Hey Samir, did you have time to put together some helpful hints for the professor's Humanities 200 students?
You bet, Kursi. This is actually one of my favorite topics in the class. What do you think we should start off with?
First of all, let's tell them what we are doing. Each term, the professor sees a number of students who have a difficult time selecting the humanities artifacts they will use for their main project. I thought it would be good if we could provide the top 5 issues to consider.
Great idea, Chrissy. I'd like to start if you don't mind.
Take it away, Samir.
Thanks. I thought it would be important to stress that there are thousands of years of humanities artifacts available to us. The professor has told me that many of his students choose artifacts created in the last 10 to 20 years.
And that would lead us into issue number 2. It's important to stress that, just because a song or a book is one of your favorites, doesn't mean it will be appropriate for the assignment.
Tell them why that's something to consider.
Of course. Sometimes it may seem like the easiest way to do the assignment by choosing something with which we are most familiar. Being familiar with a certain artifact doesn't necessarily mean it will be appropriate, or even a good choice.
Right. And that leads us to issue number 3, which is related to that one. This is always a tough one to discuss. Students need to realize that, just because an artifact is recognizable, that doesn't guarantee that it will be a good choice for the assignment. For instance, everyone recognizes the painting called Mona Lisa. It is probably the most recognizable painting in the world.
Tell me about it. That was one of my first choices. It didn't take long for me to find out it was nearly impossible to find an acceptable theme to fit it. I had to start all over again with a new artifact.
Yes, and that can cause you to get further behind in your work.
That's the truth. Luckily, with the professor's feedback, I got back on track. I think issue number 4 is something that interests everyone. Many college students are very aware of key social issues in the world. Oppression, feminism, racism, and religious issues are just some of the topics that many will focus on. Sometimes it can be a trap to choose a theme and then try to find 2 artifacts that represent that theme. You can't always make them fit. But the greatest challenge for students is trying to avoid making strong, emotionally charged statements in their analysis. It is important to keep opinion and researchable facts separate in your analysis.
I have to admit that I got stuck in that trap. Hey, let's do number 5 together.
Okay, Samir, you crack me up.
What can I say? Anyway, number 5 is probably the most important one to consider. Don't you think?
Absolutely. No question.
This issue revolves around something that doesn't become evident until about week 4.
Research.
You got it. You have to ask yourself if the theme and artifacts you've chosen are researchable. How about an example?
Okay. You may know of a song performed by Lady Gaga that you think is perfect for your theme. Oh, the words are just so meaningful and I just relate so much to this song.
That's a trap, isn't it?
Absolutely. Tell them why.
Gladly. You are supposed to use the databases in the Shapiro Library to find articles that show research and academic strength. It's very likely that you won't find anything about any Lady Gaga songs in these databases.
Yes. And then the student ends up doing all their research with Google on the open internet.
What's wrong with that?
Well, you end up using sources that lack strength and sound research principles. It weakens your exploration document.
Unfortunately for many students, most contemporary pop music or literature will come up empty during your research efforts.
Yes. It can definitely be a problem if you choose science fiction, fantasy, or romance novels.
It's important to know this, though. Songs by your favorite singer or rap artist are no less a humanities artifact than a Beethoven symphony.
Nor is a Stephen King novel or graffiti art by Banksy any less a humanities artifact than Tolstoy's War and Peace or Michelangelo's statue of King David.
Well said. The problem has to do with research and the information you find about your artifacts.
Right on, Samir. I think we covered some important information, but it's time for me to get to work.
Great, Kursi. We work well together. See you later.
Take care, Samir. Bye.